Well, I'm here at the farm. A little later than anticipated today, but I thought I'd take you along with me when I do my chores. So I'm here. First thing I do when I get here is change out of my driving shoes and into my barn boots. Correction. First thing I do is get greeted by the kitty cat. Hi, Oscar. You're a good kitty. Yep. We will let you back in the barn in a minute. So when it's this cold out, I wear these insulated rubber boots for my barn chores. They weigh a ton, but they keep my feet toasty warm. Hey, buddy. Oh my goodness. Featured heavily in this video will be kitty cat petting, because the kitty cats are everything. Alright. Hello, chickens. Chickens are already roosted. So, first thing we do is go and check the nest boxes of the does that are due. So this here is Nikki. She's a silver fox, and I suspect she's had bunnies because she's got fluff all over the place in here. And there's a little bit of blood. So let's see. These guys are newborn. Oh my goodness, look at these guys. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think that is it. She did a great job here. She's pulled a ton of fur, like a ton of fur. So that's good. She was actually due yesterday, so. All right, so that is that. Good job, sweetheart. So you probably heard in the background all of the chickens jumping down from their roosts to go back here to the staircase, because I usually, when I get here, right after I right after I check the bunnies, I feed them right along in here so that they're out of my way and I'm not tripping over them while I'm trying to do chores. And this is Juno. She was due 2 days ago, and I don't think she's having any bunnies because she hasn't had any yet. And the same with Miss Coral. Now these does are side by side. They were both due 2 days ago, and neither of them has had bunnies. They are not bred to the same buck, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with them. But I'll give them a few more days just in case they are still cooking some babies up in there. And then we'll rebreed and try again. So now that we've checked the bunnies with bunnies and no bunnies, that came out very weird. Now that we've checked the rabbits that have and have not had their bunnies, we're gonna just give some feed to these guys back here. I call them so that they know to come when I do call them and they're not directly in front of me. So I just give them scratch grain for this part. I also feed them laying mash to help them lay eggs. So this is Emoji. She was another one that was bred and didn't have any bunnies, so she is currently rebred. But right above her cage, we have a nest box, and it's got some eggs in it. So we're just gonna gather up some eggs. That's our next job. Usually this time of year I don't have very many. They've just kind of started again. I'm getting about 4 to 6 eggs a day. And there are a couple of places that I look, or that I've found, and they keep me on my toes. They switch it up every few days or so. So one of these days I'm going to put in a nest box in one place for them to use, and hopefully they will stick with that. But for now, we're just gonna gather these guys. And the one on the top here, that one is Brownie's egg. And I'm not sure who's laying this other one. It's kind of a pretty brown and it's speckled with white, which is kind of weird. But anyways, that's the first little bit of the egg collection. I have a couple other places I'll check, but they're pretty sparse this time of year. So I may only get 2. I may get as many as 6. Oh, looks like there's quite a few in that nest box. And a pretty variety. Remember I said about petting the kitties? Hey, Leo. You're a good kitty. Hi, baby. And then our next little job here, we check babies to make sure they're in the nest box. And if they're not, we put them back in. Whoop. Hey, Speedy. And put you back in your nest box. Oh, Mama's not happy with me touching her baby. No, I know. You're a good mom. It's okay. Oh. Sometimes they're hard to reach in the back corners. And sometimes they jump out after you put them back in. So you'll notice that this nest box, so Mama is red, and the nest box has black fur in it. So it's been cold at night here, and one sec. It's been cold at night here, so I have been putting in some extra fur that I've gathered from hens, from does who have pulled too much, usually through the summertime. So I gather it all up and then I put it in for the babies. Honey, that's not good. Here, you go back in there where it's nice and warm. Okay. So then they're in there and they have fur to keep them warm when it gets a little cooler at night. Mom's just checking them out, make sure I didn't do anything to them. Next job is emptying out all of the ice from the water dishes. Usually what I do, I'll take the water dish out, bang it on the wall a few times until the ice comes out. Like so. And then it is nice and empty of ice. So then after I get done all of them in the whole barn, which is hundreds of them, then I go and fill up the bucket. and then I start waters. Before I can fill up the bucket with water though, you'll remember from my last video, I usually have to thaw out my water taps. So I do that first. It takes anywhere from 5 minutes to half an hour, depending on how frozen it is. Right now it's about -5, and so I expect it'll take me probably about 15 minutes or so. So I will get at it. Well, I've thawed it enough that this thing will open, and you can see it's kind of dripping a little bit. Usually what happens is it'll start to drip, and then slowly it'll erode the ice with the water, but I don't think we're at that point yet. So I'm going to turn that back on for a few more minutes and see what we can do. We're going on 10 minutes. Still no flow. This is what takes a long time out of my chore time. We've got a little bit more of a steady drip. It's turning into a little bit of a flow. Getting a little bit more flow. And as soon as that starts going, it's going to spray everywhere, but then I turn it off. Oh, and I turn on the hose part. And then the hose goes in the bucket. And it looks like I've got a little bit of a crack in the plastic part, so I'm going to have to replace that. That is a task for another day. So it's full flow. We hang up our heat gun because it has done its job, and I always unplug it before I leave because I do not want to risk having a house fire or a barn fire. I've had a house fire before, and it is not a good time for anybody. So, yep, that is how we do the water. So, and then I have little juice pitchers, and I do them all by hand. I don't have automatic water lines. So then we shut off the valve here, and the water stops flowing. I just let it run out so that it doesn't run onto the ground when I take the bucket away. And then I take the bucket and my 2 juice pitchers, and I scoop out water and pour them into the water containers in everybody's pens. So that is what I'm gonna do now. So I do this for every cage of my, I don't know, around 150 to 200 cages. And it usually takes me well over an hour. Busting out water cups takes me about an hour. And then feeding usually takes about half an hour. So that's the next thing is feeding once I've got all the waters done. So I have these two blue, they're kind of like scoops. I got them at Tractor Supply when I visited the States. And they work pretty good. I grabbed two of them, fill two of them up at a time. And then I just pour in about a cup for every rabbit. Moms with babies get a full feeder, and so does any babies that have been weaned, so that are multiples in a pen. And this part does not usually take me long. There's Albert, the rooster, and little Teddy, and bad Buff Orpington, who keeps trying to roost where she shouldn't be. All right, so I give them about a cup, and as you can see, that's yesterday's food down there at the bottom. So they pretty much do eat everything, and if they seem particularly hungry, I will give them a little bit more. But I figure that's about a cup. So that's how much I give them all. And then I can tell if they haven't been eating very much. Sometimes it gets stuck, but giving about that much. And if they haven't been eating, then there's a lot more left in the bottom there. And there's hardly any in most of these guys. This one is not due, but she... Let's see if I can get that. She's not due, but as you can see, she's pulled a bunch of fur. But she is not due for several weeks, so she might be having a pseudo pregnancy. Sometimes that happens if they're bred and they think they're pregnant, but they aren't actually pregnant. They'll start making a nest and that sort of thing. So I'll double check the dates, but I'm pretty sure she is not due for a while. So if she is due within the next week, I'll probably give her a nest, get her nesting material. She can build her nest, do what she needs to do, and hopefully she will still have babies. And I'll probably just get her a nest anyways. But yeah, very peculiar. So this is one thing that I have to stress is when I'm feeding and watering, I am looking at all of the rabbits, checking condition, checking health, just making sure they're okay. And when I see things like this, it makes me stop and just do a little extra care on them. So I am going to figure out what's going on with Miss Clover here, and we will see you in a moment. Hi, kitty. Hey, buddy. Hey. All right, so I will do a separate video about Miss Clover over there. But in the meantime, I'm continuing on with my chores. So I fed everybody. I've watered everybody. I've checked out everybody. So now the only things that are left to do is to add enrichment to their cages, which I don't think I've ever shown this before, but I do add hay. So I've got really nice grassy hay for the rabbits. I also add twigs. They all have a resting mat in their cage, and if they don't, then it's only temporarily out while I clean it. I also add twigs. I have a pile of branches outside, so I will break off bits of twigs for them. I collect and save my paper towel rolls and toilet paper rolls. So I'll stuff them with hay and throw them in. So everybody gets some form of enrichment every day. So it is good for them here. They aren't bored, that's for sure. So, alrighty. Well, I am going to do the rest of my hay giving and twig giving, and I brought up a big old sack of toilet paper rolls I've been saving, so I'm going to stuff that with hay and throw that in for them. And then that is the end of it. Usually chores take me, if my husband is helping, it usually takes us a couple of hours. If I'm doing it by myself, it can take 4 to 6 hours, and that's generally because I do everything very, very slow. And the reason I do everything very, very slow is because almost 2 years ago now, I broke my left ankle on those stairs right there. I fell down them, broke my ankle, shattered it, tore all the tendons, ligaments, everything. It was, my knee was facing forward, my ankle was facing sideways. And so I had surgery on it initially, and it didn't heal properly. So I've been wandering around with an ankle that has not healed properly from a very, very traumatic break and dislocation. So it takes me a lot longer to do chores, and I am due for another surgery here at some point, but it has not happened yet. So in the meantime, I will just carry on with my chores, doing the best I can, and I am going to take you along whenever I can for this little farming journey I'm on. So the hens, they've all decided, oh, it's time to roost again. So we're gonna finish up here and turn off the lights and head out and let them sleep. So I hope you all have enjoyed coming on this little journey with me today of how I do my chores. And yeah, it's been a fun time having you along. I've rushed through a little bit quickly, but it does take me a long time. So I will see you in the next video, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay, bye-bye.